last week we had a pretty long conference, and really because we were focused on building a website and what it took to build a website, kind of preparation. We talked through design and coding and infrastructure and choosing your team and making decisions as far as prioritization of all the different tasks that need to take place as well. And this week we're going to talk a little bit about just basic SEO, and this is creating content for SEO. Everyone that's got a website, or especially a brand new website, has got to be very focused on creating the right content to be able to have your website properly indexed. When you're in the web development process, this may be something that you put to the side simply because it's time consuming, and you have the ability to, or you need to have the ability to go live with your website as quickly as possible and then add content to the site post go live. You need to have content coming onto the site after go live, simply because Google's going to start indexing that content after your website's live. The goal of a website launch is to have Google properly categorize your entire website and then start indexing and categorizing those pages. So it's actually beneficial to have new content coming out on a regular basis after your site goes live, and have that content optimized for Google. So I'm just going to go over some basics. This is our SEO team created just a couple bullet points that are really specific, and we're gearing this more towards our clients because this is the next step once their website is launched and when they're getting prepped for an SEO campaign. In every situation or every business, there's specific phrases that I'm sure you guys want to be found for. It's a very easy thing to figure out. Typically, you're going to go to your services pages. And let me go ahead. Do me a favor, you guys, each one of you that's on this call, go ahead and paste your website address inside the chat box right here. And I'll actually pull up your websites individually and give you an idea of what the first section here, or the first bullet point is, which is creating content for SEO, who to focus on, and your keyword titles, the benefits of having a page for each title and keyword within itself. Fantastic. Folks Heating, you're up first. So let me move over. I'm going to switch screens. So we'll start with folksheating.com. That address is not working unless I'm spelling it wrong, which I always do here. All right, perfect. So this is a site, actually, we did not build this site. Yeah, you are under construction with us, so we'll have a new website going. But this is a good example of key phrases. So if you can see on the screen, there is a difference between short-tail key phrases and long-tail key phrases. And let me start by explaining buyer personas because this really plays a role in this. You have individuals who are in the buying process and they are at the decision-making point. And when they're at the decision-making point, calls to actions and short-tail key phrases are critical, being able to get indexed for each one of these. So, for example, on this particular site, one of the things I would do after go live is I would separate boiler and burner repair. If you think about how your customers are searching, they are either saying boiler maintenance, boiler repair, boiler replacement, or boiler installation. Burner repair, burner replacement, burner installation. So it's going to be important to start splitting these out. Also, I would probably do one page specifically for energy-efficient burners. And you'll notice here, and it'll actually show in your content, we're walking right into Folks offers inspection, repair, and replacement of both oil and gas-fired boilers. So here's the set of key phrases, and what will need to happen after go live is you're going to want one page per phrase, and here's the variations for this particular page. First one is going to be gas-fired boilers. Next would be gas-fired boilers inspection, gas-fired boilers repair, gas-fired boilers replacement. Next would be oil boilers repair, oil boilers inspection, oil boilers replacement. Say that 10 times. And so that's essentially, now you also have in here, I see another primary key phrase, and this is a short tail phrase, which is cast iron boilers. So I would create a separate link for that as well. Now, if you want to see what the competition is, we're simply going to take that phrase, we're going to go to Google, type in this particular phrase. This essentially is your competition, so it's 1.5 million. Now, the way to get this number down, because you want the lowest competition with the highest number of searches. So if you just put a space, it's going to give you some recommendations. Let me go pick a different phrase. So I'm going to say energy efficient burners. Let's go check energy efficient burners. So we had 1.5 million searches on the last one. Let me get rid of this hyphen just in case that changes it. So there's 1.9. Kathy, I'm going to mute you real quick. There you go. All right, so there's 1.9 million pages in this page. But the best thing for anyone's website is going to be having one page that has a short tail phrase, which would be considered a short tail phrase. And that's going to be per key phrase. So let me go in. Now we're going to take boiler, and we're going to go replacement. And it's 7.6 million. So that's a really competitive phrase. Let me go back up and contact us. And we're going to go look at Fishkill. So we're going to now pick a city, and I want you to look at the numbers up here. So we'll go Fishkill, New York. And now you're down to 1.2 million. So we dropped around 800, 700,000 pages in here, and I love this. Folks Hill. So you're going to see that they're listed in here specifically because they have those particular phrases, boiler, repair, and Fishkill inside their title and inside their description. Excellent. All right. Now, the basis for SEO is going to come from building a strong foundation with short tail key phrases that are geo-based first. So even if, and that means geography-based, even if you have a business where geography doesn't matter, you have the ability to sell to anyone, anywhere, it's still critical to always start with the primary cities or metropolitan areas that can bring you the biggest bang for your buck, than to try and go after a global phrase. Going after a global phrase is going to be a significant change in searches. So if I add New York to the bottom of this, now have 46,000 searches instead of 1.2 million, and folks now pulls up on page 1 for that particular search. All right, let me switch over. I'm going to grab O'Brien's next. Some questions I get pretty frequently are, how much do you need content, or how frequently do you need content? The basics for any website is having 100% of your short tail key phrase content completed way up front. One of the things to take into consideration when you're writing content, so your primary phrases, so I'm going to go ahead and write this on here, and we'll actually post this as a blog post so you have these notes. The first thing is you want it to be 300 to 500 words. You want to choose a single short phrase that is used 3 to 5 times in the page. And you want one page per phrase / service / product / variation of product, slash service. The variations come in, for example, in the HVAC, we've got a handful of HVAC attendings on the call. In your situation, your variations are going to be installation, repair, maintenance, service, probably company, but those are the specific variations that you would include. So if it's heating or air conditioning or geothermal, then each one of those. I've also got Lisa Walworth on the phone, so I want to make sure and cover events too. Lisa, if you'll drop your URL for your website on here, I'll go check yours out as well. So we'll go over to O'Brien's site, and I'm going to pull up the navigation. They've done a really good job. This is a new site that we launched recently, so we've got good content on here. And this is actually a perfect, let me stretch this out so you can actually see a full menu. This is a very smart way to lay out a website. All right, here we go. So dynamic entertainment, and actually this is a site that we have in development as well. So I'll pull up both the development site as well as the current site. So on the current site, we have event lighting, photo booth, DJ masters and ceremonies, audio visual, DVD photo slideshow, game show trivia, elegant balloon decor, invitations. So some things that we could do is definitely continue to expand all of the different service areas. So instead of just photo booth, it would be photo booth rentals, event lighting rentals, and that would expand it just a little bit. This one I would definitely separate into two. So you would have event DJs, master of ceremonies, audio visual display rentals. Now audio visual can be expanded into multiple different phrases as well. So I'm just going to open this page on our current site. Now, this is where you get into short tail key phrases. Each one of these technically needs to be a its own page. So you would have podium rentals, there'll be photo booth rentals, lounge booth rentals, and so forth in each one of these. Staging rentals, staging ideas. Let me go pull the agenda up. So when you guys are pulling, let's see here. When you guys are creating content, you want to make sure that your content is not too salesy. The problem with salesy or promotional content is an SEO team cannot take that content and spin it on different article sites listed in Wikipedia or Squidoo and so forth. So you want to make sure when you're writing your content, you want to be very careful with the framework, 300 to 500 words. You want your primary key phrase used 3 to 5 times. And you want to make sure that it's more informational or educational, and that's going to allow the team to be able to submit it to third-party sites and be able to get those pages indexed. So now I know you are, let's go Houston. So essentially you would want one page that literally said dynamicentertainment.com/photo booth rentals Houston. And then one page in the future, which would be your second phase of the project, that would be dynamicentertainment.com/photo booth rentals. And then in the future, your next step up is dynamicentertainment.com/photo booth. So as you can see from a hierarchy standpoint, building the foundation is most critical first. And then you're slowly going to add in additional screens, or you're slowly going to add in additional phrases. I'm going to move this up so I can, you guys, what kind of questions do you have so far? Go ahead and write them in the right-hand side. Does writing content seem to be difficult, or is it more just time-consuming? Talk to me a little bit about, actually you can unmute yourself if you want. And talk to me a little bit about some of the questions you have as far as creating content for SEO. Meredith, I'll start with you.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you can hear me. I guess, let me see. I'm just having trouble. I know I talked to Kathy, and we set up about 8 different terms that we wanted to use. And she said we were going to use all those multiple times, and all of them have Wilmington, North Carolina in that key phrase. So it's just really hard when you're writing, and I'm trying to write good content, but it's hard to write, like, heating and air in Wilmington, North Carolina just over and over again without it sounding kind of, I just don't think it sounds.
I completely agree. All right, so I'm going to pull up Google Drive real quick, and let me give you some ideas on that. I totally feel your pain.
And, like, a lot of them, they just change one word. It's heating or AC repair, and then it's air conditioning repair, and they're all just so similar. And I'm trying to write blogs for each one of them, and I just feel like I'm just writing the same content over and over again.
So I'm glad you actually brought that up, because that's how it feels in the beginning. And it's an interesting transition. In the very beginning, your primary objective is to please one thing, and that's Google. And Google's got a robot that's crawling your site, indexing the pages, and so forth. And you can also try and think about it like you're making an educational piece versus a sales piece. So it's not all necessarily about your own company, but it's really about defining what to look for. So let me give you an article framework. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to say air conditioning. So there's your primary phrase. Here's your secondary. Okay. So this is what I would do for air conditioning. I would take this and I would drop it. So you have one primary key phrase, and then we break it into each one of the variations. The first one I would do, so you want to think of, maybe like 10 questions that apply to your business. And this applies to any business. So the question may be, what to consider when, what to avoid when, what the difference when with. Another question. Let's see here. What to look for. How to compare. What type of. These questions, as you create a series of questions, it's going to help you create those blog posts and make it a lot easier. So it may be, and you'll see how these can work in any of these. What to consider when choosing an air conditioning service company. So now you're down using the second one. You can also say, what are the top 5 considerations when thinking about air conditioning system replacement? How to compare different air conditioning systems or air conditioning companies. Oops. So, for example, what for, when, how to know when to replace. So essentially, the longer your list of questions is, the easier it's going to be to create these articles. Because you're taking one phrase, and then you're giving them a statement or a question. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll make sure I'll give this document to you so you can start off with this, and anybody else that wants that as well. And then if you guys want to add or if anybody has additional questions, you guys can put these on the same document as well. And that way everybody can access it. Okay, so I'll make sure and have this document linked on the homework page on 12-Step Roadmap. If you go to 12-Step Roadmap and click on homework, we'll put this in there as an SEO guide. And then we'll continue to add questions to it that can help you frame your blog post as well. So this list, by the time we're done this afternoon, will be a long list, and that'll make it easier to be able to put the post together. In the beginning, you are simply trying to be put in a position where real people can find you. So if it feels uncomfortable, like, this is repetitive content or repetitive information, the best way to think about it is this is a domino effect. So you have Mary and Joe who own a house and something is wrong. They are looking for probably one phrase. So what Mary and Joe are not going to do is in summer, they're not going to be looking around your heating pages and your geothermal pages and your air conditioning pages. They are going to be looking for one issue or one solution. So you don't have to be too worried about a consumer coming to the site, glancing around and seeing the same content over and over again, especially when you get into websites that are not news sites. If you are selling products or services, the likelihood of somebody staying on your site and reading article after article after article is slim to none. So think about every page and every article is a fishing lure, and you're throwing it out there, and you're trying to catch one person looking for one specific thing and dragging them back to, you're reeling back into your website. And each page or each post on your site is doing just that. And that'll make it feel a little bit more comfortable. No, when you're looking at your site, you're looking at the whole site, all your pages, all your posts, and trying to make sense of, oh my gosh, I've got so much redundant content on there, I've got so much repetitive content on there, and so forth. You don't have to worry about that because a consumer is just going to be on Google. They're going to put in one search phrase. They're going to find your site, click the link, and they're going to call or fill out a form as quickly as they get there. And that's where design and call to actions and conversion mapping comes into play. So it may feel uncomfortable having redundant or repetitive content on the page. Don't even worry about it at all. The goal is to get this thing ranked and placed so that eyeballs can start coming there. And the design of the site is what's going to convert them. It's making sure you've got easy-to-access calls, phone numbers. They can connect with you on your social sites very quickly. They can fill out a request for an estimate or a quote or a service or a consultation or sign up for an event, depending on what kind of business you are in. Does anybody else have another website you want me to take a look at? If you do, you can drop it over on the right-hand side in the comment or the chat box. Let's see here. I'm going to pull up another one real quick. Actually, let me unmute Lisa. I'm going to unmute you. Talk to me a little bit about Dynamic. I know that you're working with the SEO team on coming up with articles, and I saw you submitted your first article. What was
Finally.
Well, you saw I gave you big kudos over there. I have to give you a big smooch if I saw you personally. So that's awesome. What were your thoughts going through the process? Difficult? You need guidance?
This is helping me a lot. The same issues as far as trying to do the repetitive wording. But I think the more I do it, the easier it will get.
Absolutely. And there's no way to do SEO without it. So
the difficult thing is I didn't get in the business to do SEO. I got in the business to entertain my clients, for weddings and such. So that's the difficult part, is this is out of my realm of what I went into business for.
Well, and that actually is the best statement you could have said, because that is almost every business owner's issue across the planet, is the fact that they learn a particular trade or an industry, and the one thing you have to know in business that's not taught is, how do I market my business, generate leads, and create new business? And it's very typical. So then you get into a position of, do you have more time or money, and you're constantly evaluating. It's this pendulum that is weighing down. It's like, and I know that because I went through the same process, right? 11 years ago, I came out of corporate, started this company, and I was doing all of this, same exact thing. So in my mind, my thought was, the only thing I have to be concerned with is, how the heck do I get leads? How do I generate qualified leads for my business? Because everything else doesn't matter without that. And so I just happened to, probably most likely because I'm a logistics and operations person. So to me, and finance. So I was looking at, I got to bring dollars into the company, and when the dollars come into the company, if I'm the one doing the services, I'm going to wind up on a hamster wheel or a roller coaster, where I spend my time marketing to generate new business. I spend my time fulfilling the new business request. I spend my time marketing to generate new business. I spend my time fulfilling the request, and that is for small business owners, that's one of the most vicious cycles you can get into. Is what does the resource leveling look like to be able to get out of that mode, especially if you're in a service business where you're actually selling your time or trading time for dollars.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm with you. So for me, what I did is I made a list of what are the things that only I can do, or what are the things that anybody could do. Now, in the beginning, I didn't have the cash flow to be able to outsource everything. And so I had this list, and my coach, Tony Jerry, sat down with me, and we literally made this list. He says, everything that has to get done in the business, we took a whiteboard, and the list was, it was 100 things deep, everything from finance and invoicing and collections and QuickBooks and tax prep and marketing and blogging and websites and social. And then also you had to deliver the products. And, the list was huge. Then we put over to the left everything I can do and everything anybody can do. And then from there it was a matter of saying, well, on the right-hand side, which is stuff that anybody can do, I have to pick. My goal was to slowly choose one item from there that somebody else had to do, but it didn't mean that I didn't have to get it done. And that's actually how I wound up learning this business, was having to do it for my own companies that I owned. And I had multiple companies prior to this one, and I wound up seeing the same thing. The resource leveling issues is definitely a challenge. Now, I'll give you an example. If you were to, so here, let's think about a plan for a solopreneur. If you were to spend 2 months, for example, and I might be aggressive with my goals, so it could be audit, or you can modify it. But if you were to spend 2 months identifying what are the top 10 key phrases, and I think we've already done that for you, and you were going to create 10 articles and 10 short phrase pages for each one. Let's say you were to get on page 1 of Google for your top 5 phrases in the next 3 months. Just a guesstimate. And your phone starts ringing, and you start closing, and you start selling, and now you're out delivering those services independently. At that point, take $200, take $400, and give it to a content writer that can now write 4 articles a week for you, or 3 articles a week for you, and switch it over to them. And then as your business grows and your phone rings more, you're closing more business, now take another 3 articles and hand them to somebody else. So, and this is like now, the other day I was on the phone doing a training with BFS and Law, one of our law firm clients. And she said, well, can we just change this right now? And I literally stopped in my tracks and was like, log into WordPress, log into WordPress, log into WordPress. How do I log into WordPress? In a couple seconds, because over time I've slowly outsourced every activity related to my marketing somebody else is now responsible for. Twitter, I haven't logged into Twitter in 6 years. 250,000 followers, but I don't know how to log in, and I don't know what I don't know what all the major changes are, but they give me updates on what's happening, what leads come in, and so forth. So it's just a process of elimination, making that list, committing to get done at least the bare minimum, to be able to get that phone to ring, get you on page 1 of Google, get that phone to ring, and then slowly start to offload those things. The best part about what you're doing is you're attending trainings on a regular basis. You are participating. You are trying as far as writing the articles and getting them over to the guys. And when it comes to choosing vendors, when it comes to evaluating performance and so forth, you're going to be better educated to make better decisions, choose better vendors, and most importantly, ask better questions. And that's one of the other biggest challenges with most business owners is how do you ask great questions in a technical area that's very complex and that you don't have a background in? No different than I wouldn't know what questions to ask in your business if I'm not a subject matter expert in it. So the direction you're headed is the perfect direction. It's just a matter of getting over this hump and getting those foundational articles and pages written, and then let's make some progress, make some money, and do it again. Rinse, wash, and repeat.
Sounds good.
Good stuff? All right, awesome. So for now, I'm going to let everybody not have too much of a headache anymore. We're going to work on this homework piece. Again, the most important things when it comes, let me just pull up our project manager and SEO director, Ben's list, and I'll leave you with these bullet points. So first tip is going to be create content for SEO. Choose one focused title. Make sure you have one page for each keyword. It's going to be 300 to 500 words. You're going to use that one single keyword 3 to 5 times, and you're going to have one page per service. So if you have a title for an SEO article, try and keep them really short. What is, how do I get, what is the difference, what to avoid, and just the shorter you can keep those article titles in the beginning, the better. You can lengthen them up once you've got a page one placement and we're going after more real-time and social media traffic. You can switch gears and you can start having those articles be a lot longer titles. So in the beginning, don't worry about people seeing them because they're not there yet. Keep them short, and let's get you to page one of Google, and then we'll continue to modify the process over time. So remember, the process is going to change. It's going to start one way, and then we'll continue to change exactly how we do it. All right, you guys, with that, hopefully this gives you a little bit of information to help with article and content writing for your pages this week. And with that, we will come back next week and talk a little bit how to leverage social media and video within those articles as well, and how you can use those to support your SEO and content delivery. Thank you guys so much for attending 12-Step Roadmap training. If you're looking for additional videos, you can check those out on 12steproadmap.com. And Lisa and Meredith, thank you very much for participating in the call today, and everyone else who has attended. I hope to see you back next week.